This movie reminded me of a video game. There are rumors that the next God of War will be taking place in Indian mythology.
The fact you brought up God of War is perfect because there's 2 video game movies. I was like, holy shit, he could fucking do these. One was the first one I thought of was actually Horizon Zero Dawn. When we got to the war stuff at the end, I'm like, no, he could do God of War. He could totally do a God of War.
How are you?
I'm good, my friend. How are you?
Good. We're back to our regular setup. Sorry, everybody. We can't do it every week. Gas is expensive. Is gas expensive in India? Is it?
Oh, that's a good question. It's $5. What is it right now? $5.40, something like that.
You pay $5.40. I'm paying
my fucking Chevron right at the corner is always at. It's never broke. It's never came down from $5.
$5.40. Holy hell!
Yeah, dude, that's cheap. During pandemic, it reached like $6.
Yeah.
Anyways, what's that in core or whatever? Yeah, rupee, whatever.
In right here in San Diego, beautiful San Diego, it's $4.40. But it's still it's much better.
That's nice.
But is it in India? Is it by the liter or by the gallon? I'm sure it's by the liter because I think we're the only people that do it by the gallon.
That's a good question, man. You know, like traveling wise, I've never really driven in another country whenever I go, so I've never had to really deal with the logistics of gas and driving. That'd be that'd be interesting.
I will say the first time I was in Italy on my own, I think I had the hardest time in the world figuring out how to activate the pump and pay for the pump.
Why?
Because there used to be gas attendants that would fill it up for you. And then they just went all, I guess, during the pandemic. So I get out of the car and I'm like, see, and like a lot of the cars there are diesel, and I'm sure a lot of the cars in India are diesel as well.
Yeah.
And diesel here is which pump is the diesel pump, Ed?
Wait. I know. Wait, in terms of the number, right?
Not the number, just what color is it?
Oh, it's green.
It's green. Well, over there, gasoline is green. Diesel, and there's 2 different versions of diesel instead of the gasoline. So
that's dangerous. That's dangerous.
Yeah. My father-in-law, who has made a living fixing cars, put diesel into his car. This most recent trip was the funniest thing, and I can hold it over him for the rest of my life.
So it's not the green is not a universal sign for diesel. Okay,
no, it is not. But
that's actually really good for me to know. I would have fucked that up so bad.
But anyway, it's just hard. It's just like confusing, and then like I didn't know you had to go back to the pump to make sure that like it stopped charging your credit card, because I filled up my car, left, and then the next person came, filled up their car. And it was my charge was like $250, and I was like, man,
get out.
Yeah, but we got to figure it out.
That's crazy,
dude.
Okay, let us know if that's how the gas stations work in India.
Anyway,
so
that's
interesting.
That's a quick little bit on gasoline and pumping your own gas in a different country.
Our mundane opening talk.
Yeah, I'm sorry it's less energy. We're not in front of each other, so we're not as excited.
Let's talk about that for a second, though. Like, well, first of all, we're glad that you guys love that. We love being obviously in the same room, but it's just hard, man. You know.
Yeah, I mean, we can make a better effort to do it once a month or something like that. Anytime it's something like Barbenheimer plus.
Yeah.
Stars on Earth.
Yeah, you know, three long
shows.
Movies.
Yeah, maybe before we leave for Italy, we'll do it.
That's coming fast.
You know, that it's coming very fast. I have to buy an airline ticket.
Everybody RSVP if you're flying to Italy for Alex's wedding.
Nobody listens to the podcast that we know besides you and Travis.
No, I'm talking about the Indian audience.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
Come on out, everybody. If you can make it to Italy, it's in northern Italy. You send us an Instagram message, I'll give you the address.
Damn. Hey. I mean, it's the least you can do if they're actually going to come.
Yeah, I mean, if you actually show up to Italy, I will actually.
I'm saying this completely tongue-in-cheek. I do not expect any of you to actually come. That would be amazing, though.
Yeah, we just get some of the guys that are messaging us on Instagram. You guys know who you are. Anyway, we're not talking about any of that. Stop talking about my wedding. It's stressful enough. I'm tired of this shit. Anyway, we're talking about Bahubali. I can actually say this one. Can I say any of the characters' names? No, but we're talking about Bahubali.
Or the places.
Beginning. Oh, the places. Oh, man. It's going to be a rough rough translation episode for us. I am so sorry in advance. Someone called me out, said I shouldn't laugh. I'm really sorry. We mean no offense when we're doing this. We're just trying to have fun. So I apologize.
I'm fully laughing at ourselves when I say we're not laughing at the language at all. Yes. We're laughing at how stupid we sound.
Bahubali is the 2015 Telugu action epic from the same director as RRR. Rajamouli, I believe. I need to actually look it up. Rajamouli, I believe. Yeah.
Oh, you weren't looking at that one. That's
no.
Good.
I was just basically saying it off the top of my head.
I wouldn't have known.
Same director. He did this movie, the beginning, then he did the conclusion, and then he did the movie what actually kind of helped to kind of push this channel up, RRR. So we decided
our laminated dollar is RRR.
RRR, yeah, it is our laminated dollar. That's a good way to put it. But anyway, we decided to finally watch this one. It is a fantasy epic, I believe. Came out in 2015. It's a Telugu film. I believe, Ed, you watched it in Tamil.
I did, yes.
So did I. I watched it in Tamil as well. Yes.
For those who don't know, on Netflix, there's literally 3 separate versions of four separate versions. When you look it up, it's like the whole thing, just the queue fills up with the posters. I'm like, I don't know which one to pick. Yeah. I actually literally had to go. I went into each one. I was like, which one matches their words? There it is. Like they're mouthing it. I was like, okay.
So that's actually wasn't the matching words, right? Because it's Tamil versus Telugu. If someone could tell us the difference between Telugu and Tamil, it seems similar, but not, because there were moments where it was off.
It was the most close. I'll say that. That's all. It was
definitely the most close. I started watching the Hindi version.
Me too.
And then it was really off, and I was like, I need to change this. Right. I'm not liking this this effect right now.
Yeah, it's just
yes, but also we have the Malayalam, that version as well. From Drishyam, the original Drishyam.
Yes.
Malayalam. I can't say it. Sorry. Anyway, so yeah, we see it's the story of. Oh well, I don't really know.
Great start.
How to say his name? It's
Svidu, right?
Svidu. Oh yes, Svidu. If we're talking about the Telugu
it's different depending on the.
So I'm gonna say the Tamil versions, because that's the ones I'll remember more.
All right.
So it's about Svidu, played by Prabhas, which, by the way, we did a trailer reaction to the most expensive Indian film ever released, Kalki.
Yes.
89 AD.
That's him? Or is that what you're about to tell me?
The guy that's him. Yeah.
Oh, get the fuck out. I didn't even notice that.
Also a Telugu movie as well.
Oh, wow. Okay,
yeah.
Cool.
Anyway, it sees Svidu get that bandit's not a bad rule. Saved by his mother, who keeps him from drowning, and he gets rescued by these villagers. They raise him up. He's a mischievous boy. He climbs a mountain. He's trying to get to the top of this mountain to see what's up there because he's so curious about it. Turns out there's a reason why he's trying to get up there. We'll get into that a little bit later. And he's able to finally get up there because he sees this beautiful woman with butterflies all over her, and he chases her up, and then he realizes what he's walked into. But he's already fallen in love with the woman. Her name is
Avantika.
Navantika? Avantika. Correct. Sorry. Avantika.
Or Avantika.
Falls in love with her, and basically through saving her life, he takes on her mission to go to the castle where this fearsome ruler and conqueror is ruling. And you see that it's Prabhas again. You're like, wait a minute, is that the same guy? See, I didn't know if I was being racist, Ed, because I was like,
what? How?
Because I was like, that looks exactly like the same guy.
Who? The ruler, the current ruler of
the ruler whose name escapes me.
Magsamati?
No,
that's the name of the place. That's the name of the place. Sorry.
Is Bahu? It's like
Bahaladeva.
Bahaladeva. Yeah. So like I saw that ruler and I was like, wait a minute, is that the same guy? Yeah, and it is. He's playing a dual role, so Prabhas is playing the good guy and the bad guy.
Whoa, no. Prabhas is playing both.
You're right. It's not the same guy.
Prabhas is playing Bahubali from before.
Oh, you're right.
Yeah.
He's playing Bahubali from before.
So yes, you are being racist.
I was being racist. My bad. And I don't know how to read. I'm so sorry, everybody. I don't know how to read. Because I read it. I was reading
and that's
the
intro to the episode, right there.
I was reading the Wikipedia page trying to figure out. I was like, "That same guy? That is the same guy." And I saw it, and it didn't click in my head. Anyway, there's this fearsome ruler. He's there. He's being a dick. He has what turns out to be Bahubali's real mom, Svidu's real mom, chained up and tortured essentially for 25 years. And massive epicness ensues. Sorry, that was a terrible recap of the film. You know what happens.
People love it.
If you're watching this review, you've seen it. I'll put a timestamp here so you can skip all that, because here's where the review will start. Ed, what'd you think of Bahubali?
I really, really, really like this movie, dude. It's so good. It's so good. And it just reinforces my love for RRR and this director, who he just knows what to do, man. And I'll say this. Sure, the movie was rendered in fucking Windows Vista, but some of them just use, I'm betting you, previs shots. The visual effects are rough, but you know what though? I don't care, because this movie is a perfect example of a director who has vision, and how he didn't give a fuck. He wasn't going to let VFX ruin his just pitch perfect sort of vision for the epicness of the movie, like what this script needed. And he wasn't going to let like I think it's 28 million in US dollars budget for the movie fuck up what the script needed. And that's the movie you get. Yeah, sure, some visuals are really bad. I mean, I'm talking really bad. Like, maybe I've done better stuff in college kind of shit. I'm like, wow, that's rough. But it doesn't matter, because if the story needs it, you need it in there. And it's a perfect example of that. And this is why he's like easily one of the strongest directors, I think, in any of the Indian movie scene that I've seen, and is easily someone I would give so much more money, which is what happened in RRR. It's like, look what happens when you give someone so much money that they need to really sing, and there you go. And regardless of the VFX, I thought the movie was literally like epic as shit. And it's just wonderful from top to bottom. It was just such a great. It was paced well. I didn't feel the 2.5 hours. You know, it's consistently just captivating with all the characters, and there's rarely ever any fat. It's very straightforward, and it's easy to follow. And you're just, you know, from all the dancing and the action choreography, the sweeping vistas of the freaking epic final fight. It just completely is visually stunning, and besides the VFX, and wonderfully acted and all that. It's a really strong directorial effort. It's just really great. It's a showcase for him. It's really good.
Yeah, I mean, I completely agree. I think it was a really, really interesting movie. Like, I think I had to, like, at one point kind of pause the movie and read a recap, because I was like, I'm a little lost here.
Oh, okay.
I did get a little lost. That's not a critique in a negative way.
I hear you.
I think this was our first like Tamil language movie that we've watched. So I don't think my ear was following along as well with versus a Hindi movie for some reason. But other than that, yeah, I thought it was super, super fun. I just love the grandness of it all. Everything was big and over the top. And like, when I think of, like, before we started doing this, I think what I thought of Indian filmmaking would have been something like this: multiple dance numbers,
yes,
big epic sets, a story set, you know, thousands of years ago, and like seeing all this like grand epic finale, Lord of the Rings-esque epic finale kind of stuff. You
exactly.
know,
it's almost the quintessential like Indian movie.
Yeah.
That isn't trying to be silly. It's like actually really trying to tell a serious story, while also having these moments of levity and the music. Yes. If somebody were to ask me like what's Bollywood like, or Indian movies like, not Bollywood, Indian movies like, I would probably show them like RRR and Bahubali. Again, this director kind of just really gets it.
Yeah, skits. Yeah, it was fantastic to watch. It was such the final battle, and for me, the movie like really clicked into place when he got up the mountain and he met Avantika, and he was like doing the funny stuff underneath the water, painting on her hand, and then he paints on her shoulder when the stuff. It almost works so well as a love story. You want it to kind of keep going the love story route.
It drops it.
Yeah, and then it just drops like a fucking rock, and then here's this. The next hour is just pure action. Like you're gonna watch him run around. You're gonna watch him beat the hell out of 40 different men just because he can.
And that I will get into it later, but that is one of my critiques of the movie a little bit. It did end up like being a big problem, but it was also one of those like, oh, okay, that's interesting. I'm talking about the love story between them. We'll get to that
it
later.
just dropped. Yeah.
And just how it becomes, how it comes into play. I'm like, whoa, that scene. We'll get to that scene in a second. Oh, maybe you didn't have the same reaction, but I was what the fuck is happening in this
But
scene?
overall, yes, I agree with you. It's a very good movie. It made me want to rewatch RRR.
Absolutely.
I know that people get this. I'm excited to watch the conclusion next week. We'll have to. That's obviously the next movie. Spoiler alert. But yeah, no, it was a very fun movie with just again the thing that stuck out to me the most was how grand everything was, and that's what I really loved about it. Like we don't get movies like that here
exactly. I mean, we talk about that. Like when you talk about epics, it's like, there's the story part of epics, but then there's also the visuals, and I think he does both really, really well. Particularly the visuals. Like he's like what I think Michael Bay wishes he could be. Like he's look at some of the shot. Like some of the shots are so incredibly visualized. Like, from the crazy angles and the stuff happening in the background with it, like it's visually, it's really, really ambitious. And I think he has it, and he doesn't, it happens a lot, but unlike Michael Bay, who's his stuff just gets so gratuitous. It's just like, it doesn't really fit. It doesn't make sense for the moment. But I think SS, or I don't know how you guys call him in India. Maybe I'll go with his last name, Rajamouli. Rajamouli, his usage of these shots make so much sense in the moment, and they're wonderfully big and bright and colorful and just completely fits. And so he's someone I think like even a great director like Michael Bay could like learn something with, using visual style in that sense,
Visual style. I think he's trying to be big, but it just turns into just corniness.
It's corny. It gets kind of tacky at some point. I'm just like, oh wow, look at that. It's like Power Rangers explosion in the back.
And this doesn't, because like, Michael Bay directing a Power Rangers film, I'd be into that actually.
Yeah, probably.
Anyway, this never feels tacky, even though there is moments of like really bad CGI. But like you still feel like you're in this grand epic scale, and like it made the movie, funny enough, made me think like, damn, America's like history sucks, because you go back and you can look at this and you look at all these great buildings and things that were built, and I know nothing about the culture, but like there's buildings here that look to resemble buildings in India. Like it's just like there's so much character in those buildings. And
absolutely, culture and character
and crap.
For sure.
But like the setting is almost a character, which helps propel the movie up. And
I agree with that.
Yeah.
The amount of set pieces that occur here that like they're so diverse. I mean, you have you have like a kind of jungle and swamp, and you have like, I love one of my favorite set pieces is the icing over like the landscape. I was like, what the fuck? Like, that's real ice. How did you guys do that? Like, that's crazy. To the desert, like the barren sort of, desert of the mountains at the end with the epic. I mean, it's just such a varied movie. It really, dives in. It's wonderful. Yeah.
All right. So let's dive into the movie, I guess. Where do you want to start? You want to start with positives or critiques?
I can start with critiques because I don't have like a lot, and they're not that bad.
Again, I'm with you. We can go both there.
Okay. So earlier. So look, it's gonna be, I don't want to talk about the VFX because again, it's one of those things where it's like, look, it was budget. Okay.
Yeah,
it does suck. And it's jarring right at the beginning. I'm like, what the fuck is this the whole movie? It's not. In fact, I would say it's like they saved all the money for the big action set pieces and then just like they were like, it's fine. We have $5 to create a waterfall behind this lady. Fuck it. That's fine. Yeah. And it was the right move. See, this is a mark of a good director who's like, look, we don't have a lot of money, but we obviously need to save this fucking money for the big stuff. And like, they're just going to have to get through the beginning and just forget it. And that's what happens. You see it, like he does not take advantage of the intellect of the audience. He knows. So VFX aside, the one thing that really was like kind of head scratching and bothered me, and maybe it goes into in part 2, is the love story between Avantika and Svidu. Is it Svidu?
Svidu for us,
yeah.
Svidu for
Telugu. For Telugu, but that just weird because like, look, okay, can we just talk about that scene? Because like it's when he's courting her and he brings her to this like oasis or whatever, and then like and this big music number ensues, and essentially what it is him courting her, and then it's their love story. She falls in love with him. But here's the thing, he's like literally undressing her of her garb and of like her warrior. Avantika is built to be this like warrior, warrior woman. She's like the of her tribe or whatever, this resistance group that she's a part of. She's like the warrior, and she's fierce. I love her character. She's incredible. And then all of a sudden this really weird music montage happens where he's like stripping her of her garb, and then like putting makeup on her. On a lot of ways, I thought it was actually really inventive and fun, but at the same time, I'm like, wait, hold on. Then she becomes like this pretty girl, and they have sex, and then they're in love, and I'm just like, wait, what is going? I don't understand what this is supposed to be. Like, she's also a warrior, but then also pretty. Like, I didn't get that. And then what bothered me more is that they don't go back to it for the rest of the movie.
Yeah, absolutely.
But maybe it's because in part 2 they'll get to that. I hope to God they do, because otherwise I'm like, what was the point of all of that? It didn't make sense. Anyways. Did you feel the same about that scene? Because I was just like, I don't know how to feel about this. As someone who is perfectly okay with women being women and being beautiful and whatever, I just didn't think it made sense on a character level. I was like very being pulled on two different ways there.
I actually don't mind the scene as much as you. That's funny enough. That was one of my favorite scenes in the movie. I
don't hate the scene, but do you see where I'm like, I don't understand what you...
Look, I get where you're coming from.
Against her character, is it not? I don't know. Yeah,
I don't understand, but I liked the whole, I think it was like a metaphor, stripping her down from her warrior garb, but also showing that she's this beautiful woman underneath, and she doesn't, now you're with me, you don't need to hide your beauty kind of thing, like, because love will bring it out.
That was sort of,
because like she has that scene right before it all starts where she looks in the waterfall, or in the middle, sorry.
Oh yeah.
Where she looks, it's like a throwback where she's looking at the pond and she like throws her. She like, maybe she doesn't like love the way she looks. So then she's, this scene is basically showing, I'm here to show you that I love you, and you can see your true beauty now.
Okay.
You see the beauty that I see. Maybe that is it. So I actually didn't mind the scene too much. I actually really liked it. I thought it was pretty inventive. I mean,
I agree with you. The scene in and of itself, I love.
Yeah, like the whole, again, when we talk about grandiose set stuff, that stuff is like, I love that stuff. It was so good.
And shot well.
Shot really well. The one thing I do agree with you is the part where it just disappears. Where it's like, see you later. Maybe we'll talk about it in part 2. Maybe not. I'm sure we will, because I'm sure part 2 is like another 2.5 hour movie, but it is strange to me that there's nothing else ever talked about. Like even when I think they're like settled at the end of the film, they're not back with each other. Like it's like he's like standing off on his own, and then you get that mic drop moment.
It would have been nice to have her maybe a part of that fight scene or something, like before they get to like the history lesson.
Yeah, exactly.
But they just drop her, and I was like, that bothered me, because she was a great character. I like her.
No,
and I like her as a warrior. Like she's great. She gets that great fight scene in the beginning. Yeah, where she calls her sword.
I'm so glad.
Like, that's fucking awesome.
I'm so glad you said that, because when we get to pluses, that's one of my one of my favorite moments. Like I didn't.
Badass.
So at this point in the movie, I didn't know like how fantasy we were going.
Right.
So I didn't know she had like a magic fucking sword that came to her. But I was like, if it's a magic sword, that's epic. If someone just threw it to her, that's still epic.
That's still,
I don't care. That was just so cool. What
Clearly
a way
someone
to intro
threw her
the
sword. That's what it was.
Yeah. It was someone threw her the sword, to be clear.
But it's cool that it just kind of comes out of nowhere. Like that mixture of fantasy and reality, I think is really cool. Also, I think it's one of his signature things. Again, like people fighting animals, but it's like, you know, it's kind of believable, but also like
I mean, the beginning of RRR.
Yeah.
You know,
exactly.
When we first meet, is it Ram, I believe, who's catching the tiger?
Ram, yeah, Ram.
Yeah. Anyway, any other critiques from you?
No, not really. That was really my big like moment. I was just like, I don't know. I mean, I don't know how I feel about it. I liked the scene. I just thought dropping the love story was like okay, why did we even have to do that then? Besides, like, you know, it was character development, fine, whatever. But you know, it's a love story. I thought that'd be nice to sort of come back to, but it just drops it. And I don't. Maybe it's the somewhat still left part of me that goes, was that really necessary that he had to, like, that was the message? Like she didn't feel pretty physically because she has to be this warrior. I mean, like, I don't know. I thought she's still drop dead gorgeous even as a warrior. It's one of those like Hollywood classic, like take off the glasses, like in Barbie when they make fun of that. It's like, oh, I see you now. You take off your glasses. You're actually pretty. It's like, you've been fucking pretty with the glasses.
Like, pretty girls are pretty girls.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. So anyways, that was it. That was really it, to be honest with you. That's
I mean, the only like critique I have is just, I typically have no issue with movies doing this, and it ended up the critique kind of worked itself out toward the end of the movie because we got more background into everything. But I was very, very, very lost at the first like 45 minutes of this movie.
Wow, 45 minutes, huh?
It took me a minute to like start to put, and I had a very long, busy week of editing. Maybe that had something to do with it, but I was so lost in this movie. And then like I made the mistake thinking Prabhas played the two of the same characters. So the whole time I'm thinking, because I had to stop the movie down and I was like, watching the rest of the movie. I'm like, oh, that guy's the same guy. Whoops. So yeah, clearly I was tired. But yeah, so that was my only thing. I had a little bit of difficulty following the overall theme.
Right.
Like, I would have liked something maybe in the beginning. I would have liked to see the escape from the castle, but maybe we get that in part 2, you know? And we're going to find out why things shook out the way they shook.
Sure.
But other than that, I had no issues with it. Like I said, I think that's my only critique. I mean, like,
it's a good point. I don't blame you for that. Yeah.
Yeah. It's essentially, again, it's the most Indian movie I think we've watched on this podcast.
I
in
totally
terms of like
agree with you.
What you think of when you see an Indian film, this is it.
Yeah, exactly. The sort of they're like melodramatic parts, the music.
Yeah, the slow mo when he pulls out of when he finally
the slow mo.
He does like 3 things with his hair.
Yeah,
and I'm just like, okay, one would have been enough.
Exactly. There are scenes where it's just like overextended. You just like, okay, it didn't need to be that long, but okay, that's fine. I get it.
Which you can be. I guess you could say critique that, but like knowing that we're watching an Indian film, it's not a critique.
Yeah, I watched it going like. It
didn't bug me at all.
I'm getting accustomed to what to expect now, and I'm just sitting there going, yeah, okay, you know, like that's fine, because that's what as the Indian audience, having gone through decades of how this is how Indian movies are made, you get desensitized to it a little bit,
exactly,
and it's not bad. It's just like, no, that's kind of what we want and what we expect, and that's fine. It's cool.
Yeah, I agree. I completely agree. Okay, so. Let's so those small critiques from an overall really well done film. And I mean, this film's got 90% in Rotten Tomatoes, so
nice.
Everybody loved it. So what did you want to talk about in terms of things you liked? Let's start with just simple things you liked before we jump into direction or screenplay or anything like that.
Fuck, that's kind of what I want to talk about. But I mean,
start there then. Start there.
Well, no, the best thing, I already kind of said it in the beginning. I can't stress this enough. It's like the thing that made my eyes sparkle was, again, just seeing this director do him. You know what I mean? Like you can see it on screen. It's the only time I've ever seen the budget, the low budget really be on screen, and the director going, "Who gives a fuck?" Going like, I don't. It's still necessary, regardless of like how bad this VFX looks like. It's necessary. It's necessary to the story I'm going to tell, and you're going to understand that by the end of the movie. And the movie progressively gets a lot better with the set pieces and the music and just the lighting, and the epicness just keeps ramping up all the way through to the end of the movie. And I just can't. I sat back and I was just like, wow, what a director with just like again a vision, and just didn't. It's a great lesson for any directors to just be like, oh, if you're crying about your budget and you're gonna blame your budget like for your shitty movie, guess what? It's only gonna go so far. I've seen movies that are on an epic scale now that can be done for pennies, and it still captured my attention and still captured my imagination. And sorry, but I guess you just don't have any real excuse up to a point. Maybe you just suck. So I'm going to be using this movie now as that sort of marker, and it's the best thing I can do. I can say. And so that's, again, the epicness and the way that it was directed is just like, I can't sing the praise more. It's really phenomenal. So that's my big one. I have a lot more, but that's like really my top one. I'll go with yours. Let's go to you for your next one. Maybe I can jump off of it.
I mean, since you took direction and screenplay, for me, I think that, man, I loved the two things that really, really loved about the film, where I already talked about the grandness. And then it's just nice to see a fantasy film again, I guess.
Yeah,
you know,
okay,
like,
yeah.
It's like a dead genre, really, in America. There was Lord of the Rings, and then the terrible Hobbit movies, and nothing for a long time. And now we have Dune, but like the first Dune was very much all set up, talking, try to keep up if you can.
Yeah.
This next Dune is, stepping it up. But to me, this was like I said, it felt Lord of the Rings-esque.
Yes, absolutely.
It was so grand, and it's just nice to see a fantasy tale on screen and living back in the day when, your imagination can run wild.
Right.
And when everything's like 200 years in the future, or Iron Man blowing shit up. This is super, super cool to see, these guys essentially be superheroes of this time.
Correct.
And I really, really enjoy that.
And it's fun. Do you know what I mean? Like Lord of the Rings, I wouldn't call fun.
No, I definitely would not call that fun. Yeah.
Yeah. Like, again, like this, and that I could say that about a lot of Indian cinemas. Like they don't forget to have fun. Like at some point you go, yeah, it's a little melodramatic, but it's fun. Like they're having fun. They're trying to create these moments for you that stick out in your head.
Right.
Of like beautiful visuals. And sure, the dialogue's cheesy a little bit, but it doesn't forget its traditional roots in that sense. Like a lot of this is very much like kind of classic kind of Shakespearean-y type of language. It's very straightforward. Right. Everyone talks perfectly. No one says or that's and it's fun. It's just fun to be in that world, and they're taking themselves seriously, but also not forgetting that this is a fantasy. It's not meant to be taken too seriously. Like again, like Lord of the Rings gets very dark and serious at the end of it. It's like, but even moments here where it's like people's heads get chopped off, and like people are and civilians are being used as at the end there as what do you call it? Sacrifices, for the sake of war. Like there's some dark themes here. They're heavy themes, but it's still a fun movie. It never forgets to be fun. You're still in a movie, and he knows that you need to fucking, be invested in in that level.
Yeah, and like jumping off that point, dude, it's like there's this like great grand fantasy happening behind you, but it's fun. But the simplicity of the story is still there.
Yeah.
Once you see Bahubali's the good guy, Bahaladeva is the bad guy.
Right.
Like
it's very clear.
And it's clear, and you can see it. And they just here's how the bad guy would do it. Here's how the good guy would do it. And it's not drowned down and overcomplicated dialogue or anything like that. It's simple, and like that's to me like that's why the movie works so well. You make it grand, you make it fun, and you make it simple. And
Correct.
like again, like maybe for the people of India watching it, it had deeper political things in there. But for us, it was great. And like that's what I want from a film, you know?
Absolutely.
Especially like a film like this.
And I want to talk about the screenplay then in that sense, because I thought it was, again, talk about how you don't need complex dialogue in order to tell a layered story. You know what I mean? And that's the beauty of this story, is that it actually really blossoms. I love the fact that they save the history lesson for the end of the movie as its climax. Even though you kind of know the end of it, it was still fascinating to fill in the blanks from the beginning of the movie. And I thought you don't really see that often, like using the climax as like a history lesson. I thought was really, really brilliant. It really made the movie open up, you know, and become something you knew kind of what to expect, but not really. And so you still have those moments where you go, oh man, I didn't know like that's how that went down. You know, oh, they're like brothers. And that essentially becomes a story about that. You know, it blossoms to a story about it's really just family drama.
The best stories are typically family drama.
Yeah,
like
they are.
9 out of 10 times it's something like that. It's always something steeped in some sort of family bullshit. Yeah. Even in real life. Jesus. Anyway.
Yeah.
So talked about the screenplay, we talked about direction, grandness. We love the fantasy aspect of it. Favorite characters?
I'm glad you brought. So I love. They're all great. They're really
a favorite, but
there's no extra characters, which I love. There's no fat. Like every main and supporting character is there, and they get their moments to shine. It's hard to pick, but like I said, I really love Avantika as a powerful female character, although she gets dropped. But the second, like. The person my mind keeps going back to is what's his fucking name? The slave.
Oh, Katapa.
Yeah, is that his name? What is it? God damn it. Tapaka? Is it? No, hold on. I want to get this right.
It's Kattappa.
Katapa. Yeah. Katapa. Maybe that's how it's. Yeah. He's awesome. And
epic. He's cool.
He's so cool. Like that first scene you get introduced to him, and he where he's like trying to buy swords, and he from that cellar
and steel or something like that.
Yeah. What an intro. And he's so humble. Like he's not like a hard ass.
Right.
He actually carries a lot of the heart of the film, and he's this like big burly guy with like this epic beard, but he's like he's noble. And you know, he plays that noble character who also has to be fierce when he has to be, and he plays that role really well. Yeah. And then of course at the end of the movie, the big fucking sort of drop is that he is the one who actually kills the original his Svidu's father, Bahubali Senior, I guess. So like his arc in the movie is fantastic. Because his arc is the one that you're not really sure where it's going to go. Yeah. And that's what's brilliant about his play in the movies. He's the one you're not sure of. And of course, at the end, that's the big cliffhanger is like, oh shit. So wait, why did he do that? And anyways.
I was hoping you were going to take a different character. Because that was just so I could talk about him. But when first, his intro is insane. So great. It's like, so like, the way he moves and the way he breaks that sword is insane. But then when you're in the flashback scene and you get that super epic slow-mo shot of him jumping from the balcony when the queen calls him, and he jumps down and they're trying to like basically start a coup against this woman, and he says that didn't happen. And I thought his story was, believe it or not, way more fascinating than Bahubali's.
100%.
Which I'm sure maybe we'll get more interesting background into Bahubali, the new Bahubali, Svidu, when he starts in the sequel. But for me, he was the best character, the most dark horse character. And I loved every time he was on screen. I really want to know so much more about like this. The reason I'm excited to watch the second one is the fantasy stuff, but I'm excited to watch the second one because of him. 100%. And I want to know why he did what he did. And why did he portray?
Again, the screenplay knew.
Yeah.
It left him as the cliffhanger. He is a big part of this story, bigger part of this story, and I love that. I love that, like, he's a supporting character for pretty much the whole beginning part of the story, and then they're gonna catapult his involvement in part 2. Clearly, he's a humongous part, and I love that. I love the dynamic there. You know,
what
that
happened that he betrayed Bahubali?
The person he clearly adores. I mean, he you know. It's a wonderful drama.
Yeah,
I love that.
So yeah, I really like that part as well.
So he's also your favorite character?
He would be my favorite character.
He's my favorite character. Yeah, 100%.
What did we think of Bahaladeva, the
villain?
Oh, the cousin.
The cousin villain. You know, he plays his part, and he's a one-note villain, and that's fine. I think he's in it. Do I feel like his character could have felt more like crucial to the story? Sure. But again, for what we get with him, I think it's fine. I think it plays perfectly fine with what we get. I think they could have written more for him. I think his performance is fine, but again, he doesn't have a lot of depth. That's the thing. But he ultimately is a function to show why Bahubali is your hero. That's all it really is, and that's fine. It's simple. Again, it's simple, and he plays that part fairly well. What did you think of him?
Yeah, I would agree. I think he's like, he's exactly that. Incredibly one note. He's just there to dislike him. He's there to be arrogant. He's there to be, but again, like, you know, it goes back to like the simple things. Keeping your villain simple like that and keeping your villain one note works from time to time. Sometimes, like, a lot of people like to, like, we're gonna make a really layered, deep villain and give him purpose, and it's like, I don't need that. I just need somebody to dislike on screen, especially in this. Just give me that, you know.
Yeah.
So I think it works out perfectly. So that's characters. That's plot, screenplay. Any favorite moments you want to mention that you haven't talked about yet?
I have a lot.
Okay, let's go.
Of favorite moments because again, this is like a testament to the director. He really sets up a lot of these fantastic shots.
Yeah,
and these sort of thematic, these moments that feed the theme, not just by the screenplay but also visually. So, you know, well, I'll go into the easy stuff first, which is that the action scenes in this movie are great. The choreography, particularly the hand-to-hand combat. And the final battle, it's all fantastic, like Hollywood top tier stuff, you know. And I hate to say that, like, like Hollywood's like the best at it. No, it's just it's wonderful. So one of my favorite. I have this epic moment here where I was like, that made me go, what the fuck? That's the coolest fucking thing I've ever seen. Okay. Oh yeah. So the fight that culminates as they're chasing, I guess, Svidu into that area, right before the history lesson, like that whole action sequence. Where it's Svidu versus Katapa, right? And they're going at each other. Katapa has to grab the sword off the thing, but nope, Svidu instead has to vault over him, grab the sword from the sheath, and then in the same motion, cut off the head. Of his the second in command guy, whoever that guy is. That whole fucking thing, I'm like, that's so cool. I love that so much. And that was one of my favorite shots in the whole fucking movie. It's so great. And then like the body keeps moving.
Yeah.
After head
and then it goes like to silhouettes. You're just like,
yeah. And the rain. I mean, again, talk about like visuals at the right time. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like in this moment, you're just like, oh fuck, that's fucking insane. That's so epic. And then it resolves with Katapa realizing that's Bahubali, right? It's just this wonderful, you know, the movie could have ended there for all I cared.
Yeah.
I'd have been perfectly happy with that. And obviously keeps going. And but what a moment, you know. And there's plenty of great action moments like that. Just again, balancing fantasy with kind of it not really going into like the superstitious world, you know. And the action choreography.
It walks that line.
It walks that line like swords flipping and people using their feet to like grab it right at the right time. It's just like, you know. Yeah, all that stuff is great. Anyway, that was like one of my absolute favorite moments. How about you?
For me, like one of my absolute favorite moments was I mean, I'm cheating here, but like the entire final scene from the moment he decides I'm not sacrificing the cow, why don't you take my blood? And it shows the people are on his side. There's so many moments in that battle.
Yeah.
Like there's a moment where he grabs a spear, he kicks the spear, it goes through one dude, and then it goes completely through another dude. I was like, oh my God, that was super inventive.
Exactly. He's clearly taking some notes here from 300, from Zack Snyder.
Yeah.
Again, there's so many little moments like that in the action where you go, that's inventive, that's cool, that's fun.
There's a moment that I love so much where the troops are down, they think they're gonna lose, and he's like, we're not effing losing, let's go. He's on his horse, the horse like does its like comes up, and then as it comes down, he pops a spear onto his hand. He like flips the spear up, and I was like, how do you be so cool?
I don't know.
To do that with your horse. I mean, there's like so like inventive, cool moments that I would have never thought of.
There really is. Like exactly. It's piled on, like the whole end scene has it. It's all these little moments that you're just like, that's fucking cool. Like I don't care if it's
cool.
like that, it's unbelievable. It's fucking cool. And
it is believable because it was back then. And it's a fantasy film. So it walks that line, you know.
Sorry, that's the wrong word. It's like it's not grounded in reality. Yeah, but it's believable, right? Yeah. It's in the rules of the world and that they build. That's believable. It's fine. It's perfectly happy. Like, you know, that can work and it's okay. And 100% agree. That whole, let's talk about the epic end scene, dude. That whole, I don't know. It's climbing my list of like epic war scenes. Yeah, because it's very simple. You understand. It's not even about the war. It's about who's going to be king. And you know it's Bahubali, but like how? How do we show why he's the man? Well, at every corner we're going to show his Baladeva, the other guy, the villain, how he is just ruthless and doesn't give a fuck about anyone but himself. Right. Increasingly, his shit gets crazy. He has a weed whacker, this horse-drawn weed whacker. I was like, holy shit, this is fucking crazy. Dude, and then at every corner, Bahubali, they show why Bahubali is smarter, why he's much more witty, and much more and he's a hero because he cares about the people with, you know, again with the whole people for defense, and he saves them too. Right. That's all it needed to be. It just needed to show the dichotomy between both of those at each turn, and that's it. And again, it's simple, and sometimes that's all you need. When you talk about the battle of what's that epic ending battle called in Lord of the Rings? Helm's Deep, something like that. Yeah. It's long and it's epic, but it can be bogged down by just like a lot of like, wait, who's that and what's coming up? I'm not sure. Here it's just very simple. You know, you can see it laid out, and all you need is those moments, and then and that's it. You realize it all culminates to that moment where like who gets picked king, and you're just like, fuck yeah, like that's all you need. That's all you needed to do.
Just a bunch of fuck yeah moments. But
I just want to bring in one more thing. I never enjoyed animals being hit more on screen. He does it well. There's like 3 horses they run into.
He pushes a horse over like 3 guys at one point.
He does.
Did your version had CGI over it, right?
Yes, with the at the bottom corner.
At the bottom left corner. Can somebody in the audience tell us why that is? Why is there like is there a law in India that says you have to explain that this was a CGI animal? Because I'd like to know. That's interesting. But yes, he pushes a horse over a guy. He hits the dick cousin hits an elephant with his mallet thing and knocks it over.
Epic.
So epic. I mean, it's so crazy.
Great. Yeah, I've never enjoyed animals being hit more.
Yeah, like again, the way he everything in that final battle is just so cool.
It's epic. It's epic.
Any other fun moments? Big moments you liked?
Yeah, I like that whole scene with the landscape with the ice. I want to know how they did that. Like, how did you get the ice? Did you freeze? Is that a set and you froze the fucking?
When he's fighting those guys.
Yeah, when he's saving
right after she drugs him.
When he's saving Avantika from those guys. Like, that's a great set. Like, I've never seen that. I've never seen real ice. Yeah, you know, typically that'd be just done and it'd be fake. Like, you'd have props department create fake ice or whatever. It looked, it was real.
There are rumors that was so cool. That because this movie reminded me of a video game. Just going to all the different areas. such grand things. There are rumors that the next God of War will be taking place in Indian mythology. And if we get to see stuff because I saw a video of India and all the regions most recently. I was interested in it after one of our commenters left a comment about it. It is one of the most diverse regional places on planet Earth.
That's incredible.
And it would be just so cool. Got me excited thinking, man, I hope that rumor is true, as a spider literally crawls down.
Oh, Jesus fucking Christ.
Hell? Anyway, it would be so cool to see that in a video game. But yeah, that's what this movie left me with, because there's so many different environments that you go to, barren deserts, beautiful cities, lush rainforests, and this weird ice part. Snow
comes out of nowhere.
Nowhere is correct.
It should require an explanation. Fuck, I didn't care.
Yeah, how did we get there? It doesn't have to be far.
I'm so happy you brought up the video game thing, because that was the next thing I was going to bring up. So one thing I was thinking about while I was watching the movie was, what the fuck could this guy do next? Like, if we had to steal him for an American film. And the fact you brought up God of War is perfect, because there's 2 video game movies. I was like, holy shit, he could fucking do these. One was the first one I thought of was actually Horizon Zero Dawn from the beginning, because in the beginning of the movie, he does a really good job. I mean, again, the whole sort of Tarzan-y aspect of and him using animals. I'm like, he could totally do Horizon Zero Dawn, and I would be so in for it, man. Like, the multiple tribes and
it'd be very cool.
Humans fighting animals, and then it's robotic animals. Like, he could totally do it. And then when we got to the war stuff at the end, I'm like, no, he could do God of War. He could totally do a God of War movie.
God of War,
I'm like, dude, the complex family drama. Zeus versus Kratos, and then again the fact that Kratos's weapons are similar to the freaking ball and chain shit that he's doing. Like, he could totally do a God of War movie. I would be so in for that. I was like,
So his next movie, because I looked it up, because I had the same thing. I was like, I wonder what SS is doing next. Well,
SS. Okay, we're taking on the SS. I like that.
In 2022 at the Toronto Film Festival, he is working on a globe-trotting action adventure that will be James Bond meets Indiana Jones, set mostly in Africa.
Fuck yeah!
So I'm so in for that. Which, by the way, one of our commenters on our Indiana Jones left that comment as well.
Oh, wait, is that true? Oh no, I didn't see that one.
I feel like that's just gonna reinvigorate my action adventure, because it was just pissed on when Indiana
at this point he should have done.
He should have done Indy 5
and Indy 5 at this point.
Yeah,
any kind of action, globe-trotting adventure with family drama and fantastical set pieces. Fucking give it to this guy. Like that. That's who I want to do it at this point.
He's also working on Indian animated film rooted. Maybe whatever that means. So he's working on that. So that'll be super cool.
I look again. Anything at this point, anything he does, I'm gonna watch, especially if it's an epic. Yeah, he clearly knows what he's doing. But fuck. Those all are great. I'd love for him to do God of War. God of War will probably become before Horizon Zero Dawn, but he could totally do God of War, and I would be so fucking in for that so hard. I mean, come on, man! Look at with Kratos' fucking whip chains. Holy, he could do so much cool. Like, there's a moment here where at the end, where the chief of the other tribe that they're fighting fucking throws bodies at him.
Oh yeah, that moment. I started laughing. Bodies. I was like, "Come on!" And then he boom. I just knocked off my head. He's too excited. He opens
up like, "That's fine. That guy, that's cool." But it meant replace that with Kratos. Fucking, it's over. It's done. It's the perfect thing, dude. He's perfect.
Oh man. It was so good. All right, we've been going for like 50 minutes here. So, any other great moments you want to talk about?
It'd be remiss not to bring up some of the musical moments here. I really like the one my favorite one is when they visit the city. Forget the name of the city. There's so many cities, but they're chasing the traitor, right? And they end up at that like city where it's full of misfits and fucking dangerous people,
dude.
And with the wine.
the choreography in that
and the choreography
nuts.
It's really good.
It was nuts. Like
probably one of my favorite.
He's like doing this whole. He's like standing still, and the two women are like whoop, whoop, and then they drop, and then the other woman comes up, and I was like, oh fuck, that's pretty sick.
Really good. One of my favorite.
I completely forgot that happened.
Yeah. One of my favorite shots there is when it's a top-down shot, and there's like ropes, and they're like going around them. I just thought that was beautiful. It's such a great.
The way they were revealed was amazing.
Yeah.
The rope, they're all inside these ropes. I was like, yo,
so good.
This is really good.
That whole scene again is just really, really good. That's a scene that was like, again, if you want to talk about Indy 5, like Indy 5 was missing scenes like that where it was just like kind of fun and you're getting like, character development, you know, and it's extended, but like it's just it puts you in the world, it puts you into the mindset of the characters, and it's just he throws the rocks at like he pays for all the wine, and he throws the rocks at and then let's get that great shot where just people are just bathing in wine. I don't know, it's just so fun, it's so great.
Yeah, he keeps hitting the wine out of the way or whatever they're drinking. Bigger.
Yeah. Unnecessary, but I love
that. Yeah, I'm glad you brought that up.
Anyways,
I really did enjoy that, and I completely forgot to.
Again, one of those moments you enjoy. It's the movie's riddled with like moments like that.
It's an enjoyable film.
It's such an enjoyable film. I cannot wait to see the second conclusion part and see how it goes. So
I'm super excited to watch the conclusion of this. But I think that's all for today. The conclusion next week, and then from there it'll be I don't know what. Let us know what we should watch after the conclusion. I hear this. People keep commenting Yuri Surgical Strike, whatever that is. So maybe we're back into action films for a couple weeks, or maybe we do the Doom series because we've been talking about Doom for a long time.
Yeah, maybe so. And people, I'll finally probably pushed over to the camp of Amir Khan being better than Irfan Khan. People really were like, "Fuck you, Amir's definitely better than." I'm like, okay. I mean, I guess. Shit.
Well, from the movies we've seen from Amir, I would say it's better. We've only seen 2 Irfan Khan movies, so one of them was very good.
But I still think
a lot of the Amir Khan stuff are also.
I still think Irfan's performance in The Lunchbox trumps all of Amir's performance I've seen. That's not to say that they're bad. I'm saying that is a fucking phenomenal performance.
Interesting.
That requires nuance. Where Amir, again, he is not that type of, you know, at least in those movies, he's not asked to be nuanced. Right. He's asked to play up what he's known for, and he does a great job. I'm not saying Amir's fantastic, but what Irfan does in The Lunchbox, in my opinion, is just on another level, if you ask me. They're both amazing, guys. Okay, picking
they're both amazing. We love them very much. SRK is king, so it doesn't matter.
God. I love Amir. Jesus. Okay.
Anyway, thank you so much for watching, liking, and subscribing. We'll see you guys next week.
Part 2.
Bye.